Hey everybody, this is Miss Kemp with week 3, day 3 math. Today we're going to be talking about whole number fractions on a number line between numbers greater than 1. So we have talked about 0 and 1 on a number line. And you really need a lot more practice with 0 and 1. But I don't have enough days to teach you all this stuff, so we're going to kind of slowly move on to the next step with more numbers on our number line. I kind of went over this a little bit in the last number talk, and I hope I didn't confuse you with that. So I want everybody to you need to do this with me, so get out a piece of scratch paper. You can just use your toolbox and get something to write with. If you need to stop it to get your supplies, please do that. Go ahead and draw a number line on your paper. And this number line is going to start with 0, and it's going to end with 2. 0 and 2. Move my camera closer for you to really see what I'm doing. 0 and 2. Now I want to number this number line with halves. So I'm going to be numbering this number line with halves. Now you notice I didn't ask you to number 1/2 of the number line. I want you to divide it into halves. Now first of all, between 0 and 1 on a number line, between 0 and 2 on a number line, there is another number. And that is the number 1. So go ahead and label that 1 on your number line. If you are still needing to draw your tape diagram, stop the video now. Well, don't stop it yet. Go ahead and I want you to stop the video and draw you the tape diagram above it. You see how with mine, I would lightly draw it with my pencil, but I use some dotted lines. So I drew that tape diagram, and what I need to understand was I'm actually not looking at one whole tape diagram, because here is a hole, and here is another hole. Okay, so this is where it's kind of going to be another step that gets confusing. And I want to label all the halves. So when I have that 0, this would be 0 halves. When I'm at one whole would actually be 2 halves. So I'm going to label this line 2 halves. Well, if 2 halves make one whole, 4 halves make 2 wholes. Have I labeled all the halfway points here? No, because I haven't even labeled 1/2. And then there's going to be a halfway point between these. So here I have 0 halves, 1/2, 2/2, 4 halves. No, this would actually be 3 halves. Now I have my tape diagram drawn. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So as I look at this picture and I understand that this is a hole and this is a hole, this is 1/2. This is 2 halves. Because when I'm looking at my number bond, one whole is made up of a half and a half. Here would be 3 halves. This is not a good marker. 3 halves and 4 halves. So this number bond just relates to this part of the problem. But if I'm looking at the problem as a whole, the whole would be 2. And 2 would be made up of how many halves? One half, one half, one half, one half. Because 4 halves make up 2 whole. Okay, and I'm going to erase mine back down so you can just see that there is just a number line there. I did draw a bunch of extra fancy stuff around it, but when it comes down to it, take my tape diagram away. I simply have a number line that's labeled 0, half, 1 or 2 halves, 3 halves, and 2 or 4 halves. Okay? Let's look at another one. So go ahead for this one and draw your number line. Remember, a number line starts with an arrow and it ends with an arrow because a number line is continuous. It continues. Okay? We're going to start this number line with the number 1. And we're going to end this number line with the number 2. Now, this time I want you to label it with thirds. So I can go ahead and know that between 1 and 2, how many pieces am I going to need? 3. Not 3 lines, but 1, 2, 3 pieces. Okay? 1 whole. This is not 0. 1 whole would be the same as 3 thirds, because 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 1 whole. Okay, this is another third, so this would be 4 thirds, 5 thirds, and then this one would be 6 thirds. Now, I'm not so sure about that 6 thirds, so I want to come up here and I'm erasing this so I can draw a nice number line and check it out and see if that's going to be right. So my whole is going to be 2. Okay, so I need 3 thirds to make up 1 whole. So I need 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 thirds make up 1 whole. Okay. I need 2 wholes, so I'm going to need 3 more thirds. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 thirds make up 2 wholes. Now I want to come down here and relate this to the tape diagram for those of you that are kind of still, this is a lot to take in today. A lot to take in. When I draw this, this would be my tape diagram. If I was going to divide my tape diagram into thirds, I would divide it right there. And I have to imagine in my head that over on this side, there's another tape diagram just like this that was already divided into thirds. Okay? And all I did to make my number line is just erase that part. Erase that part. Okay? So get your scratch paper and make sure you're working this with me. And if I know that I'm probably going too fast. It's hard for me to gauge. In the classroom, I can kind of look at you and see if I need to slow down. But if I'm going too fast, please stop the video and work these out. Okay? This one, we're going to draw our number line. And we're going to start with 3. We're going to end with 5. This time, I want you to do fourths. Now, I know immediately that there is a number between 3 and 5, and that would be the number 4. And 4 comes right in the middle, okay? I want you to stop the video, and I want you to just draw the lines to divide between 3 and 4 into fourths, and between 4 and 5 into fourths. So stop the video, just draw the lines. Okay, if you drew 4 lines, you didn't do it correctly because the lines don't represent the fraction. The fraction is the space. So here's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Only had to draw 3 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've got it divided into fourths now. So stop and check yours if you need to. Okay, 3, I've got 3 wholes. Okay, well, I know my fraction is going to be fourths. Okay, so 4/4 makes 1 whole. How many fourths would make 2 wholes? Oh, 8/4 because 4 plus 4 is 8. I need to add 4 more. 4, 8, 12. 12/4 makes up 3 whole. So if this is 12/4, then this is 13/4, 14/4, 15/4. Go ahead and stop the video now. That's not very pretty. And label the rest of these. Okay, so I have 16/4, 17/4, 18/4, 19/4, and 20/4. Now, I can already probably tell you right now, if your parent's working on this with you, your parent is probably saying to themselves, why is Miss Kent writing those big numbers? Why isn't she just saying 3, 3 and 1/4, 3 and 2/4, 3 and 3/4, 4. Why am I not just changing it to a mixed fraction like that? Well, because we're not quite ready for it yet. We still need to understand the fractions on the number line and how the fraction's growing. So this is not important for us right now in 3rd grade at this point. Let's do one more. This one's going to be a little bit of a challenge one for us. So go ahead and draw your number line. This number line is going to start with 6, and it's going to end with a 9. 6 and 9. I want you to stop the video and think to yourself, what whole numbers come between 6 and 9? And when I say a whole number, I'm talking about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, between 6 and 9, I just counted and I said 6, 7, 8. Oh, I need 2 numbers, and those would be 7 and 8. I don't know if those are equally on that number line. We want to divide this one into thirds.
And I also want the